This edition of Crop Life Retail Week is brought to you by Winfield United. Hello, welcome to another edition of Crop Life Retail Week. I'm Eric Sfiligoj, editor of Crop Life and Crop Life Iron magazines. Here again with Lara Sowinski. Laura, how you doing there in Texas today?
Fine, thank you. How are you?
Very good. Per the weather that we usually discuss, I know here in Ohio it's in the low 80s today, so it's probably something that you're used to in Texas. So I don't know, mid-January, but
Well, not this past year. It's been a long, cold winter, down in the 50s. So I'm ready for, I think we'll probably have similar wet weather these next few days. I think upper 70s here and nice spring day. It's nice to be in an area of the country that has legitimate four seasons. So I'm enjoying the springtime and bud break and all the nice trees in bloom. So yeah, good day to be alive and recording Retail Week.
and again, as you know, having originated in Ohio, here in Ohio we have four seasons. Of course, we have summer, we have fall, we have winter, and we have road construction.
Indeed. The same thing out here. So I will say there's much more in common than I had previously. So all
Uh,
right, that was a good one.
and well, I'm glad you enjoyed it. So very good. So listen, hey, just before we get too far into the video, I know that you had teased last week, of course, from one of your visits recently, that we had a little video to share with our viewers. So if you could remind everyone who may not have been here last week, who you visited and what exactly we're going to be talking about, and then seeing with our own eyes.
Thanks. Yeah, absolutely. So Eric and I are on a tour, if you will, of the United States ag retailers across America's celebration for the Crop Life 140th anniversary. And one of my recent visits was with GS Long out of Yakima, Washington. And they were kind enough to send over some videos of their beneficial insect release. And this is done with a drone. So let's take a look at the video and then I'll share a couple items related to this program. So here it is. So that was a drone delivery of beneficial insects in an apple orchard. It's really exciting. I mean, this is a fairly new program that the ad community is experimenting with, and some of the challenges, if you will, or at least the complexities of a program such as this. For one thing, it is definitely part of a larger integrated pest management program. So, in doing research and after I saw the videos and was doing some reading on my own, some of the things that need to be worked out, working out the bugs, if you will, the recommended rates of the beneficial insect release, the sizes of the insects, time of day, weather. You also need to have food in the orchard or the field for those insects, or as one entomologist said, otherwise they'll just simply leave and go to the next one over for that drive-in meal. So it's really kind of cool. So hope you guys enjoy it, and thanks again to the folks over at GS Long for sharing that.
Yeah, and then just to remind everybody, these were sterile codling moths, I believe you said were being released, correct?
That was one of the things that they've experimented with. Yeah, I think they've been doing actually since I looked online. There were a couple things that they've been experimenting with since 2021. So they've done a couple things, and they sent over videos from the apple orchard, which is the one that we shared, hops, and I forget the third one. But so they've been trying this out, but so far, much success. Just trying to fine tune things, if you will.
Okay. Well, yeah. So everybody enjoyed that video. So, hey, we got a couple other things to share. I guess this is on the front of well, in the international world, and also it has to do with grain. So, where do you want to go first, Miss Laura? I'll let you pick. You want to go to Mexico or you want to go to China?
Wow. Well, I think I've got the outfit for either one, so I'll let you. Got my bags packed. Why don't you? It's chef's choice.
Okay. Well, we'll go with one that's of an interesting one, just because I ran across this item, and we'll go east first. So we'll head into China.
Right.
As you know, of course, China is a big importer of a lot of agricultural products around the world, corn and soybean. But lo and behold, I ran across a USDA report that says that China has now become the world's largest importer of wheat, of all things. According to their statistics, there's going to be 12 million tons of wheat imported into China in 2023, which is going to be the highest number the country has imported since 1996. So
Wow.
again, it's been a little while since China has been the world's major importer of wheat. I guess what's spurring this, Laura, is that wheat prices on the international front are a little lower than things like corn, and a lot of mills in China that normally had been using corn for processing are now switching over to wheat, and again, finding a little more economical to do so. So that was kind of interesting. Run across that. I didn't never would have guessed China would be the biggest for wheat, but they will be this year.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Yeah, on my side, as far as a news contribution, we've been talking, of course, in recent months about the ongoing negotiations, contract negotiations between the Pacific the West Coast waterfront employers, as well as the ILWU, the Longshoremen. Contract expired last July 1st, and while they got an early start on negotiations last May, thus far nothing really tangible in terms of forward movement, getting closer. In fact, unfortunately, on the evening of April 6th, which was a Thursday, um, longshoremen didn't show up for the shift. Ports of LA Long Beach had to shut down. They stayed out during the day on Friday, April 7th, and then returned back on the evening of the 7th. One of the news reports that I ran across from Peter Friedman, who heads up the Agriculture Transportation Coalition, the AgTC, agriculture exporters. There was one in particular that had was hoping to get product on for an outbound voyage. Ports were closed down. Lost 20,000. Just in as far as the sale, the transportation costs, et cetera. So again, compounded with the fact that I think we've been talking about every month that goes by without a contract, more cargo is being diverted, some of it in a permanent manner to East and Gulf Coast ports. So not looking good. In fact, even the numbers as far as the volume and, just the trend. I mean, over the last year, the amount of freight going through LA Long Beach. Now that things, trying to strip out, of course, the COVID disruption to what would be otherwise normal trade flows, certainly a decline. So, yeah, we'll keep you posted. But that thus far, everyone's like, things have been subtle. There's been a lot of, jogging and saber rattling and all that, as they oftentimes describe it. But this was more of a definite, not a good sign. So we'll see.
All right. Well, on the other half, or the other part of this little break from our sponsor will be, since you mentioned saber rattling, we'll go into that a little more in detail. So,
Change your tune when it comes to crop protection. Help ensure performance with adjuvants from a leading name in the industry, Winfield United. Don't miss a beat this season. Hit up your Winfield United retailer to hear more.
So, as we were saying just before that little pause, the saber rattling going on. We've been talking a lot about what's been going on saber rattling wise between the United States and our friends south of the border in Mexico regarding biotech corn importation into that country. Of course, Mexico has banned the use of GM corn within its borders, and the United States saying that based on the United States-Mexico-Canada trade agreement that they can't do that. So we had mentioned in an earlier video that April 7th was the last day that negotiations could have gone on. We are past that date now, and it looks like we're going to be going into the formal protest phase of this saber rattling, and the United States will be formally saying, no, Mexico, you need to adhere to the trade agreement. So, but the bad news, Laura, and why I'm bringing this up is folks are saying that this appeal process could take 155 days from the date it is filed before there's some type of resolution, which you do a quick look at the calendar, puts us well into late December or early January of 2024 before any type of a verdict is going to be rendered. So I know we were hopeful that maybe by the time fall rolled around and harvest rolled around, this might be settled, but it's sounding more and more like this dispute between the two countries will be ongoing for at least the rest of this year. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, I mean, there's always a chance that it could be resolved sooner, but like you said, the fact that it's even moved into a formal protest stage now doesn't necessarily, bode well. But we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, no, we will have to see. And again, I mean, what this will do to commodity prices, again, these are all questions that we'll be following in future videos as things are known to all of us. Well, Miss Laura, time for your favorite segment of the show. Time for Fun with Numbers.
All right, I want to get a fresh piece of paper because I have to get that on the winning track because
Got to take some notes here. All right.
All righty. What do you got?
Well, the number I have for you this week, it's a percentage, 25%.
Get it.
All right, so 25%. Does that represent A, the percent decline in Argentina's corn production in 2023 versus 2022? Is it B, the percent increase in China's wheat imports in 2023? Is it C, the percent decrease in dry fertilizer costs for 2023 versus 2022? Or is it D, the percent of my leg muscles that were not sore after mowing my lawn for the first time this week?
Every year gets harder, right?
And the recovery time takes
Start this big, right?
It used to be about a half a day or a day I would recover. Now it's like, no, by the weekend I'll feel better. But
okay. Well, I'm gonna think that you're trying to toss me a really softball this week, and perhaps B is the right answer.
But perhaps not.
No,
No, your correct answer this is A. Yes. I ran across another U.S. trains around the world, and it said that according to USDA, that Argentina, because of continued drought conditions and other weather-related problems, that they're projecting that in 2023, they're going to only produce 37 million metric tons of corn, which is down 25% from 2022. So, but on the bright side, with that being the case, I would imagine that commodity prices for corn from U.S. growers will increase as the Argentinian supply will be reduced by 1/4. So,
We'll talk about a formal protest, being that it's a projection because we're still at 2023. Can I protest that?
No, I'm not going to let you get off in the technicality.
Here, I thought you were my friend.
I'm trying. I figured you'd catch on to the pattern that the answer is going to be something that we hadn't already prior talked about. So keep that in mind for future reference.
All right, you're right.
All right.
Okay.
Well, thanks everyone for joining us for this edition of Retail Week. A special thank you to our sponsor for this week's video, Winfield United, for their support. We appreciate it. Hope everyone out there has a great weekend and week, and we'll talk to you again real soon. Take care. If you have questions or comments about today's episode of Retail Week, contact us by email or Twitter, or type your message in the comment section below. Your feedback is important to us. We will try our best to address your thoughts in next week's episode, and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel.